Fair is only fair. I'm new to this queer kid stuff channel, but I thought I'd give a small reply to it anyway because it seemed rather disingenuous. And this is targeted at our kids, so they don't know any better. You can tell a kid to jump off a building with a good smile, and here we have someone who does.
It's okay to be gay.
Welcome to Queer Kid Stuff. I'm Lindsay and this is my best friend Teddy, and today we're talking about feminism.
Or somewhere in between. We all are part of one big family. Gay means happy. Queer kid stuff. You are enough here at Queer Kid Stuff.
Okay, I typed out their intro song because this is something I think you should think about. To begin with, it's okay to be gay. Well, it is. I don't care if you're gay or not. It's okay. Things are different in many ways. Well, yeah, this is also true. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. So far, 100%. I'm 100% with them. Or somewhere in between. How can you be between a boy and a girl? And don't get me wrong, but this gender dysphoria bullshit starts at a young age. When we tell boys that it's wrong to be boys. And we tell girls how oppressed they are and how bad they have it. Therefore, it's terrible for them to be a girl. This makes boys wanting not to be boys because they don't want to be bad, and this makes girls not wanting to be girls because they don't want to be oppressed. We're all part of one big family. Yeah, you know, the thing is, you're fearing your family into being part of your family. And then gay means happy. Well, yeah, that's old English. Lots of gay people kind of disagree with that. And then we go queer kid stuff, I'll forget about that. So, somewhere in between. You're talking about children, you're talking about toddlers, you're talking about... and you already want to instill gender dysphoria in them. Bloody hell, how you didn't get put to jail yet is beyond me. Anyway, let's see what they have to say.
Lindsay,
Yes, Teddy?
why are you dressed up like that?
I'm dressed like Rosie the Riveter because we're talking about feminism.
Who's that?
Well, Rosie isn't a specific person. She's a symbol or an icon, something that represents a bigger idea. Rosie represents feminism.
In all fairness, Rosie didn't represent feminism. She represented the need for workers to come and take on jobs. And what with men during the war being soldiers, women needed to do a man's work. Having said that, women didn't only work in factories like war mongering tank builders. They took all kinds of jobs that men used to do. And after the Second World War, a lot of these women went back to become housewives. Were they allowed to still work? Yes, they were. There was less need for them, but they were still allowed to work. Most of them, however, didn't. And this could have been because at that point in time there was unequal pay between men and women. This is also why the Equal Pay Act of 1960, I want to say 3, but it could also be 69, was enforced. And after that, women returned to the workforce en masse. One of the reasons, though, was because a lot of these women chose to be single parents, or, well, maybe they didn't choose for it, but they were single parents. And another reason was that the one-income household often wouldn't suffice. What with changes in the economic and payment structure in America, having basically created a system where, yeah, I'm sorry, the family where only one person worked wasn't viable anymore. You just didn't make enough anymore. So yeah, a little bit more information for your indoctrination. But then again, this information count as your indoctrination, I guess. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what's feminism?
I'm glad you asked. Do you remember when we talked about gender?
Of course.
Well, here's the truth. Sometimes things are unfair. One of the biggest things that's unfair is that people are treated different than others. Because of their gender, girls are not always treated the same as boys.
Nor are boys treated the same as girls. And where boys and girls are different, girls have more laws protecting them and boys have more obligations in this world. So yeah, there are still differences between boys and girls, but girls come out on top, don't worry.
Our country was founded in 1776, but did you know that girls weren't allowed to vote for president until 1920?
There are several reasons why that isn't true. Women, some women in the United States had a right to vote already. Men only got universal suffrage in 1870 and women got universal suffrage in 1920. So that's 50 years later than men got it, but not that much on the scheme of things. Women did already have a right to vote, some of them anyway. But more importantly, girls never have a right to vote. Just like boys never have a right to vote.
That's 150 years boys could vote.
Wow, lying is your preferred way of getting a message across, isn't it? No, universal suffrage for men in the USA was 1870. So that's 50 years men were allowed to vote.
Why weren't girls always allowed to vote?
I don't know, Teddy. That's just the way it was. Girls weren't seen as equal to boys. Sometimes they still aren't.
Wow, your teddy bear recognizes the possibility that some girls were allowed to vote, or rather some women, because girls were never allowed to vote. But yeah, most men weren't allowed to vote either. So that's not important because feminism? Seriously, tell the story as it is. Don't try to twist it. Yes, for 50 years, men had a right to vote where women did not universally had a right to vote. But before those 50 years, men didn't have the universal right to vote either.
That's where feminism comes from. Rosie the Riveter actually comes from a time when girls were finally allowed to have jobs that only boys had.
Wow, two complete lies in one sentence that basically had nothing to do with each other. Well done! No, women were allowed to do certain jobs, but on average they didn't because they were dirty or heavy and men were better at them. Oh, and the universal right to vote was the 20s. Rosie the Riveter was the Second World War. I don't have to tell you that the Second World War didn't happen in the 20s, do I? No.
That's why she's so important.
She sounds really cool.
She is, and we are still trying to make sure girls are treated the same as boys today.
So again, let's not mention the fact that Rosie the Riveter worked during the Second World War because men had to go to war. She stopped working after the Second World War because she didn't need to work anymore because men did the job and they could stay home, raise the kids and whatnot, which is also very important, don't get me wrong. And they already had the right to vote, so that's not a thing Rosie the Riveter worked for. And I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, yeah, I remember. Girls and boys have the same right protecting them. Once you get a woman, women have more rights protecting them than boys do. Oh no, wait a second. Even girls already have more rights than boys because female genital mutilation is against the law. Boys' genital mutilation is not.
Girls still aren't paid as much as boys for the same job.
If you have proof of that, go to the police, get a court date and sue the company that pays women less.
Wow, that seems sort of unfair.
Yes, it is.
It's also untrue. But then again, lies usually are.
And that's why we need feminism and feminists.
No, this is why we need to point out that you're a smug, lying bastard, you smug, lying bastard.
Because feminism is the belief that boys and girls should be treated as equals.
Okay, looking at the United States of America, let's look at the 5 major differences between women's rights and men's rights, shall we? A woman has the right of a genital integrity. Female genital mutilation in America is forbidden by law. However, for boys, this is not the case. Women have the right to vote. They don't have to sign up for active duty. Men, however, have to. It doesn't mean that as a man, when you sign up, you automatically get called in, but you have to sign up for the draft just to be able to vote. So that's a difference. And women have the right to choose parenthood. If a woman is pregnant and she doesn't want the child, she can opt out by choosing for an abortion. A man cannot choose for an abortion. If a man is in favor of an abortion and the woman is not, he still has to pay for the child. If the woman is in favor of an abortion and the man is not, he will not have a child. This is a difference between men and women right there. And then there is this thing that women can call unwanted sex rape. Now don't get me wrong, I'm against rape, but I'm also against rape allegations. And men, even if they get raped, have a hard time proving that they were because no one believes them. I have to clarify though, I'm not against rape allegations, I'm against false rape allegations. Sorry.
I believe that.
Then you're a feminist, Teddy.
No, if you believe men and women are equal, you're an egalitarian or a humanist, but you are not a feminist.
That makes me so excited. Now, what do I have to do as a feminist?
All you have to do is treat boys and girls fairly and equally. It's really that simple.
I can definitely do that.
Well, as long as you treat boys and girls equal and give them the same rights and the same protections, yeah, you can call it whatever you want. You can even call it feminism. Feminists wouldn't agree with you, but you can call it that. I don't mind. She goes on by saying, oh, awesome. And if you want to tell us how you have become a feminist, please share your message with us. Well, I'm not a feminist, and I prefer people not to become feminists, but hey, to each their own. The thing, however, is that her story is done, so I'm now going to do my final rant a little bit. The problem with Queer Kid stuff is that it's aimed at children. Basically, lying to children is the best way to get indoctrinated adults. We know this. This is how Christianity did their job for a long time. This is how Muslims do their job still. Well, Christianity too, don't get me wrong. Give me a child and I'll give you a devout adult. And this is what feminism is hoping for. Devout adults. Because feminism is a religion. You have to believe their lies. Because as soon as you come with, well, facts, the problem becomes that you are either a misogynist or you have internalized misogynism if you're a woman, and you're wrong. This is the thing with religions. They have to have this imagined enemy. Well, patriarchy is the feminists' preferred Satan. They have to have this religious high goal, the great end goal. Women should have equal rights to men. Women already have more rights than men, but they still continue to fight for more. It's not about equality. But the glass ceiling. Most men in the top earning positions, well, most people in the top earning positions are men. I already gave that away, sorry. Yes, but there is also this thing called a glass cellar. Most people in the bottom ranks of the workforce, sewage workers, stuff like that, are also men. You will find less women in that than you will find in the top echelons. But no one mentions that. Or the fact that men die more on the job. I think 9 times was the latest number. I remember 7 times, but I've seen 9 times as well. So, yeah, there is this thing. Men die more on the job than women. No one talks about equality there. Men can be forced to fight, which means the draft. Women, however, cannot. Or they can choose to go into the army if they want to, but they cannot be forced into the army like men can. And then there is, of course, homelessness, primarily a problem for men because women get help, men do not. Suicide, primarily a problem for men because women get help, men do not. Domestic violence, primarily a problem for men because women get help and men do not. And this is where people say, yeah, but women get abused domestically more than men. Well, yeah, not really. I mean, the numbers are roughly about 60% of all domestic violence victims are female, which means 40% of them are men. It's not 50-50, I'll grant you that, but it is pretty damn close. So do you think that shelters for abused men is 40% and abused women is 60%? Well, no. Shelters for men is less than 5%. I keep going on, I keep going on. I'm going to stop right here. I could go on. This is the worst part of it. I could. There is plenty more examples I can give you. Anyway, like, share, subscribe if you feel so inclined. And if you have any questions or criticism, I would love to hear them. Be good all. And you know what? Whatever you be, don't be a feminist.